Wagner, a McDonald's All-American 22 years ago, and now it's DJ here in 2023. Corey, speaking of bloodlines, what about LeBron James's son, Bronny?
Bronny is probably the most intriguing prospect in this 2023 class. I've been watching him since he's been in the 8th grade, and he's gotten better and better every time I've watched him play. You see him, of course, with his dad when they won the World Championship in 2016, and then going on to Sierra Canyon, where he starred for the past 4 seasons. Moving on, and now, of course, a McDonald's All-American, Bronny James, coming in, who had a strong chance to win the dunk contest, but more importantly, has an opportunity to put on a great showing here in front of maybe one of the biggest crowds we've had in the McDonald's All-American game, and you see what he's been able to do. And this is where he's been most impressive throughout his senior year, is shooting the basketball. You can tell he's really put in the work, shooting the basketball from beyond the arc, showing off his range, and of course, he's always had elite athleticism.
You guys might not know this. We're in Texas. Future Texas Longhorn in this game. Ron Holland is with Brooke Weisbrod.
That's right. The hometown guy here ready to show out. How excited and important is it for you to play in front of so many hometown fans?
It's really exciting. It's really important to me. My team, we're in a real competitive spirit, and us being able to put our name in the conversation with greats, we're trying to get this win.
Right. It is an all-star game, but certainly a preview of what's to come in your future. How do you leave this game with no doubt?
Like I said, we're in a whole competitive spirit. We're going to play this game like it's make this one of the most competitive games anybody's ever seen before.
I like it. Going to be like the girls' game.
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Which was on fire, as we know, Brooke. Both teams hitting the century mark. Ron Holland told us Saturday night, we're not talking about making this a real game. It is happening. Here's the starting lineup for the East, and joining Wagner in the starting 5, his future teammate Paul and the #1 player in the class of 2023, Justin Edwards.
Yeah, Justin Edwards had a fantastic senior season. Does a little bit of everything well, a slasher, rebounder, defender, much improved three-point shooter. Part of that #1 class going to Kentucky next season.
In the starting lineup for the West, joining Holland, Andre Stojakovic, the son of Peja, Isaiah Collier, Brandon Garrison, and sharpshooter Brandon McCain, 24 in the black, who won the three-point shootout last night. The West turns it over to start here.
And the West has something to prove, because the East dominated the scrimmage. Even though it was a very competitive scrimmage, they dominated that game, and they got a lot of great production from a guy that's a reserve for them, Stephon Castle, who will be a spectacular performer for Danny Hurley at UConn next year.
The only player in the game heading to a school that's in the Final Four this year. Wagner misses from long range for the East. Here comes the West. Holland, one of 2 native Texans on the floor tonight, and McCain drills at the future Duke Blue Devil. Paul, his shot is so pure.
It's been pure for 4 years. Corona Centennial High School, top 10 in the country, 3-point winner last night, headed to Duke. Maybe the best shooter coming into the ACC next year.
Xavier Booker, the big, headed to Michigan State, trying to show off his range. West up 2-0. We played just over a minute. Collier from downtown, and he gets the friendly roll. He's really improved from 3-point territory.
He's got that deep 3 ball. Played against Stephon Castle last month. He buried 4 threes in that game. If he can get that, sky is the limit for Isaiah Collier headed to USC.
Edwards couldn't hit for the East. Here is Collier knifing through and drawing the foul. He is so explosive, Corey.
He absolutely is, and when you think about Isaiah Collier, he's shown off his passing ability throughout the entire week here at the McDonald's All-American game, as we get an opportunity to see the reserves. Of course, Bronny James, wearing the #6, as his father dons now for the Los Angeles Lakers, will come off the bench. But Mookie Cook, #3. We talked about Bronny, but Mookie Cook actually plays Bron in a movie. Ted, so of course you've got a lot of LeBron James influence in this game here tonight.
Yeah, that movie Shooting Stars set to premiere later this year. Collier at the line, maybe the best pure point guard in the class. He's the #2 ranked player at that position behind Wagner, Paul.
He is the best playmaker in the class, best passer in the class. When I watch him pass, it reminds me of Jason Kidd in many ways. Big 6'4" guard. Jump shot and defense need to improve.
Collier headed to USC. Here is McCain going to Duke. He's improved as a playmaker the last couple of years. Feeding Andre Stojakovic, came up short, and the rebound for the East.
Nice look ahead by Cody Williams. Justin Edwards unable to handle it, but gets it back.
And Cody Williams is fouled. Williams, the number 6 player in the ESPN 100, headed to Colorado, the Buffs' highest-rated recruit ever. And the younger brother of Jalen Williams, who's having an outstanding rookie year with the Thunder.
Smooth, finesse, he's got the jump shot. Beautiful drive game, athlete. Still putting it together, more of a prospect than a player. He's going to play for Tad Boyle. Needs to get stronger, loves to play defense. This guy's a 5-star player.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, PB, that's really more of a late bloomer, and his best basketball is ahead of him. Got into the ESPN 100 late and has now become, as you mentioned, a tremendous prospect. You see his length defensively and how he can make things difficult.
And he's getting after Ron Holland right now.
Stojakovic. I think we've seen this before. A Stojakovic who can shoot from deep. And a turnover by the East as Elmarco Jackson, who's headed to Kansas, tried the wraparound.
I love the start of this game, though, because the West, who were beaten by double figures in the scrimmage game, have come out knowing how much this means. And it's been a competitive start to this game.
It's 8-1, the West on top, and now it's 10-1, thanks to Jared McCain.
He's sharing the point guard position with Isaiah Collier. What matchups in this game? Wagner against Collier, McCain against Jackson.
Cody Williams rejected by Holland. Out of bounds, it'll stay at this end.
Jared McCain going off the bounce. And again, we've talked about his shooting ability, but has the ability also to play off the bounce and score, using great footwork in his body to be able to score over bigger players.
Exactly, Corey. He is so fundamentally sound when he gets into the paint. He uses the jump shot and the jump stop.
Oh, this is fun. Wagner against Collier. Forget about the shot. Fouled before Wagner put it up. You have 2 of the 3 best players in high school basketball, according to the ESPN 100.
Yeah, Wagner's now become much more of a playmaker, and I think Collier's jump shot has improved.
Nice feed by Jackson to Booker, and Booker is fouled by Brandon Garrison. Well, let's check out the top 10 players in this class, Paulie. There's very little separation at the top.
Very little separation. You're looking at 4 or 5 guys that could finish as the #1 prospect in this class. Outside of Collier and Wagner, the strength of the class is the forward position. You see size of 6'8" or greater with size, skill, athleticism, and IQ. Very talented group at the forward position.
And PB, you and I have talked about, of course, DJ Wagner, who when this class had the opportunity to be ranked as sophomores in the ESPN, their first rankings, DJ Wagner was #1. And he has a chance, as you mentioned, out of those players to be #1 when they finish, a chance to be one of the guys who's able to go wire to wire.
And that speaks a lot about his toughness and his mental approach to the game.
Elmarco Jackson swallowed whole by Ron Holland, who's one of the most impactful defenders in the class, Corey.
He absolutely is that, but you heard Ron Holland talk about that we were going to be competitive. He walked into our meetings on Saturday saying, we're going to make this a game. We are going to compete. And it wasn't that way for the West in the scrimmage, but it has been here in the game.
Collier a burst. Oh, blocked by DJ Wagner. In transition, the East. Edwards, the #1 player in the class, and Booker headed to Michigan State is there to clean it up.
If you're looking for an all-competitive team, put Ron Holland #1 on that list.
Well, I got to go with Justin Edwards right there with them. Both those guys,
no question,
and super competitive. And Justin Edwards, of course, maybe a little tired.
Collier to the rack around Booker. Tough finish.
And Justin Edwards just won a state championship on Friday night and was here in Houston to practice on Saturday.
And the lefty comes up short from 3. Collier, the whirlwind in transition for the West, headed to USC. Inside, and Brandon Garrison, the future Oklahoma State Cowboy, with the bucket.
Whether it's transition or the half court, Isaiah Collier is going to find you. He's going to pass it away from the defense. You got to be ready when you play with Collier.
Cody Williams, the elevation for the future Colorado Buffalo.
There's a flash.
Yeah,
Cody Williams
showing off just a bit of his athleticism, and one of the reasons why he's such a tremendous prospect.
Collier spins it in against Williams. Count it, and 1.
And Isaiah Collier, he took the scrimmage personally because DJ Wagner got the best of him in the scrimmage on Sunday. And now you can tell that Isaiah Collier, the Wooten Award winner this year for the McDonald's All-American game, and he has been in attack mode, getting downhill to that basket, able to finish through contact not once but twice.
Also the Gatorade State Player of the Year in Georgia, Isaiah Collier. He brings the playmaking ability, the defense, the drive game, the finish game. He's going to get the ball next year at USC. He's got a terrific class. Arrington Page, his teammate, is going with him. Silas Demery, and they're trying to recruit one Bronny James.
Yeah, the guy stepping into the game right now, Bronny James, making his entrance into the McDonald's All-American game. And of course, 20 years ago, his dad was possibly the best high school prospect of all time. And now Bronny gets a little bit of his shoes to wear here today.
Aaron Bradshaw, long two for the top-ranked big man in the class going to Kentucky.
He's so much better facing up than he is with his back to the basket. He's got a legitimate three-point shot.
Omaha Blue feeds Bronny James, who drills it from deep.
And he loves
There you go with Dad courtside.
And that's what he's done. He's improved significantly on the jump shot. And one of the reasons why so many NBA people now are intrigued about Bronny James, because he defends and now he can shoot it.
And he can play, he can play the one or the two. And he is best off the catch shooting the three ball.
Great hustle by Aaron Bradshaw getting on the floor. When's the last time we saw this in the McDonald's All-American game?
When we were kids.
On the floor.
A timeout with the West up by a dozen. Bronny James in the scorebook.
He's so fundamentally sound. And how about the shot preparation and mechanics by Bronny James for a triple?
And his dad loves it along the sideline, making sure he celebrates along with his son, the West.
Paul Biancardi, Corey Alexander, Brooke Weisbrod, our entire crew. Tonight we've got the first ever third-generation McDonald's All-American. DJ Wagner, Dad DeJuan, and Pop Milt Wagner in the house.
And Milt Wagner, of course, one of the guys that I watched growing up, Ted, at Louisville, won the national championship alongside Never Nervous Purvis. And the guy that wore the part down the middle of his hair. So, of course, he had all of us making sure we got that at the barbershop.
Jacoby Walter, along with Ron Holland, the only native Texans in this game here in Houston. Walter headed to Baylor with the putback. The West up 22-8 here in the first. Aiden Holloway in the game at point guard for the East. Holloway headed to Auburn. Bradshaw is fouled inside.
You know, Bradshaw did that in the very first practice. He got on the offensive glass with some putbacks. We saw the jump shot all week. But when he starts attacking the offensive rim, I'm telling you what, he becomes special because he likes to stay outside. When he goes inside, he can be a force.
And the next step for him is, of course, when he gets to Kentucky with John Calipari, when that ball goes up on the glass, instead of him catching and bringing it down, he's just going to dunk it while it's up there to make sure that no one is able to affect it.
You know what the next step for him is going to be before that?
What's that?
Make the strength and conditioning coach his best friend and go to McDonald's. He needs some calories.
Got an opportunity to look at that class.
Supersize me.
Justin Edwards, Reed Shepard, who will be playing on the West team.
Walter on the drive again, and Jacoby Walter from McKinney, Texas, just north of Dallas, about 4.5 hours from here, will be at the line. You're right, Corey. That #1 recruiting class for Kentucky is something special. For the first time in all of Cal's years there, he'll have 3 of the top 4 players in the class heading his way.
That's impressive. And again, when you think back of all the great Kentucky classes, that this one will have that distinction. But I can tell you right now, and I'm agreeing with PB on the fact that Kentucky has won. Duke's not far off, though. They've got a very talented class coming in. John Shire does as well.
And they're different classes. Kentucky, a high competitive edge. Duke as well competitively. But Duke's class can really shoot it. I love the athletic ability and the toughness of Kentucky's class.
Speaking of Duke, this guy right here, Mackenzie Mbako, who played alongside Aaron Bradshaw and DJ Wagner with the New Jersey Scholars.
Walter the lob, and off the mark. Bayfall couldn't slam it. Mookie Cook with the follow. Cook, top 20 player in the country, going to Oregon.
We haven't had a lot of dunks in the practices or the scrimmage. I don't think there's going to be many dunks in this game because these guys are getting back on defense. Shot selection's pretty good as well.
This is one of the matchups you wanted to see. Aiden Holloway against Bronny James, and Holloway puts it in.
You've got to check Aiden Holloway. He's a bucket wherever he is on the court. Can Holloway now guard Bronny?
Oh, from NBA range! Sweet stroke from Bronny.
And if there's anyone out there thinking they haven't seen this before, I would be with them, but I can tell you right now, it has been consistent this entire week. Bronny James has been shooting the cover off the ball.
Stephon Castle counted, and a foul for the East. Future UConn Husky. Back to Bronny, though.
Yeah, Bronny shoots it at close to 40% off the catch. There it is, off the catch. Feet are set, eyes are up.
And with his ability to defend, which I honestly believe is his greatest strength right now, and now he's added that jump shot, he becomes a significant two-way player, and I think he's a guy that can be very respectful on anyone's court.
What's his ceiling, Bronny James?
Become a two-way player at the college level and beyond. He's got an upside as a defender, great facilitator, and he is excellent at the catch and shoot.
Omaha Blue headed to Iowa State, trying to find Bay Fall, lost it out of bounds. It'll stay at this end.
One thing I think Bronny can do really well in college and beyond, play two positions. Even though he's small in the league for a two guard, but at the college game, he can play the one or the two. He's interchangeable.
But the most valuable position right now in the NBA is the combo guard. You think about everyone has one or two that can go out and fill it up as well as defend, and that's where I believe he fits in at the next level.
Look out here. Aiden Holloway couldn't curl at home, but he's fouled.
The West got off to a great start in this game, building a double-figure lead. But you can tell right now with the second unit coming in for the East, the intent is to be able to cut into this lead. Aiden Holloway's come in with tremendous competitive nature to start his tenure on this court.
Well, ESPN is the home of the women's Final Four. It's in Dallas Friday night. LSU and Virginia Tech, followed by Caitlin Clark and Iowa, matching up with Aaliyah Boston and South Carolina, undefeated and the defending champion. Both games on ESPN and the app. Corey, as you like to say, Dawn Staley, your little sister.
Dawn Staley, my little big sister, but also my first cousin, Kenny Brooks, in the first game. So, Ted, I will be making my trip to Dallas to be there to witness it in person.
Walter trying to follow the miss from James, and Holloway clears it for the East. Feeding Bradshaw. Couldn't finish over Fall.
See, he's got to get comfortable with his back to the basket. He's got to get lower, wider, and more leverage.
Ballou takes the baseline against Modest Buzelis, and Ballou goes reverse side for two.
There are very few guys that have a motor like Omaha Ballou. He is spectacular. I've never watched him, and he's not playing hard. I think he only has one speed.
Iowa native, stay home and play for the Cyclones. A crafty move by Holloway again, and once again, the whistle blows.
Omaha Ballou attacking the basket and just showing off his strength. Once he gets there, Modest does a great job of trying to beat him to the spot, but you see the strength of Omaha, just his ability to finish through that contact.
Check out the hoop scoop for Omaha Ballou. Unique name, right? You think of Peyton Manning. Omaha, Omaha. Well, Ballou was born in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents from South Sudan.
And he can make a catch-and-shoot three-point shot. I think he's a fantastic rebounder. He's going to bring, as you mentioned, Corey, energy, defense, and scoring to Iowa State.
And, you know, one of the things that we've talked about throughout this entire week is this class has a lot of guys with great positional size. You look at a guy like Omaha Ballou. You look at Ron Holland. These guys are 6'8" and up. They can play on the wing. They can actually go down and play in the post if necessary, and even more importantly, guard post players. So that's what makes them great and so versatile, and we have a lot of that in this 2023 class.
Ron Holland, top 5 player in the class, going to Texas. Oh, swatted away by Aaron Bradshaw, who ranks just ahead of him in the ESPN 100.
When Aaron Bradshaw is aggressive on both ends of the floor, he's a difference maker. We've seen him post up, shoot the three-point shot, this time going after the attempt. You know, John Calipari's teams in the past, the best, they always had that shot blocking presence in the back.
Is Ron Holland the most versatile defender in the class?
He is the most versatile and the best defender in the class.
Holland missed the 3 and foul inside.
I mean, he can switch. You talk about switching 1 through 5. Ron Holland can do that. He can sit down, slide, keep the ball in front.
But at 6'8", maybe closer to 6'9", that's what makes him the most versatile when you think about the standpoint that he can guard really 1 through 4 at any level. And more importantly, at this stage of your career, if you enjoy playing defense and you want to play defense, that says a lot about you. Because there's a lot of guys at this level who have simply been on teams where they didn't have to play defense. Other guys did that while they just went out and scored.
Well, that's how he made his name at Duncanville High, on the defensive end. The jump shot is vastly improved. In fact, he shot the ball so well this week, NBA scouts questioned whether or not he could shoot it coming in. He answered those questions.
East in the bonus here late in the quarter. And the West up by 11 nearing the final minute. Nice that we're playing 4 quarters instead of the 20-minute halves. Reed Shepherd knifes in for the basket. Another legacy player, the son of 2-time national champion at Kentucky, Jeff Shepherd. His mom, Stacy, was also a star with the Wildcats.
Don't sleep on Reed Shepherd when you get to Kentucky. He can score, he can play make, and he is tough.
Oh, Holloway dancing around Shepherd for 2. He's got 7.
Those 2 guys will be going at it next year. Of course, Aiden Holloway headed to Auburn. And Reed Shepherd headed to Kentucky, just like his parents. As you get an opportunity to look at their family legacy, and you see Jeff, the father, 2-time national champion, 1996 and 98. But this is where the buckets come from. Mom was the big-time scorer. And when you think about Reed Shepherd, I'm sure he grew up wanting to be a part of Big Blue Nation.
Mom Stacy's top 10 all-time at Kentucky in steals and assists.
But how about this? Reed Shepherd, forget Fortnite, forget any video game. That's not his thing.
Refreshing.
A rarity.
It is,
right?
it is very rare and
I was
refreshing.
waiting. I'll tell you what he does on the road for AAU games. He finds a gym with Gabe Cups. There's a dunk by Buzelis, and he shoots before games in the summertime. I don't know a lot of guys that seek out a gym or a playground to shoot before the summer league games.
Modest Buzelis, 13 in the white for the East. The only player in this game heading to G League Ignite. Now 16 seconds left in the quarter. Collier lost his balance, foul called. Castle is trying to make it tough on him. And Stephon Castle, who's headed to UConn, is called for the personal.
Extremely impressed with the approach of everyone who has stepped on the court in this first quarter of the McDonald's All-American game. The competitiveness that we've had thus far here to start this game off. And it was something that all the players talked to us about on Saturday. They wanted to make sure that we knew they were going to compete, not only in the practices and the scrimmage, but in the game as well. And I think they've held to their word.
Yeah, this group has taken a much different approach than years past. From the very first practice all the way to the scrimmage the other day, they've been serious about their game. They've been serious about being a good teammate.
Final seconds of the quarter. Holloway, he can hit from that range. Aiden Holloway, unlimited range. Now in double figures. He beats the buzzer. And the East down by 8 at the end of 1.
And the West got off to a great start, but it was Aiden Holloway who got the East back into this game. Double figures. And of course, whenever you see Modest attacking the rim, catching us all off guard with the creativity and the dunk, he shows it off once again here in the McDonald's All-American game.
Brooke Weisbro.
Yeah, that was a nice looking 3. Nathan said, I got to get some more shots up. How is that flow feeling for you so far?
It's been decent so far. You know what I'm saying? That was the first quarter, so it's a lot more game to go. Just trying to stay level. I really just tried to come out here and just play as hard as I can, have as much fun as I can. That's it.
Now you play for Team CP3. You love Chris Paul. What do you like about his game, and what do you want to incorporate it into yours?
Just like his knowledge of the game, his pace. He's like a wizard, really. Like, he knows what's going on. He's 3 steps ahead of the game. He knows what's going to happen. He knows all the reads. So I'm just really just trying to learn the game as much as I can to know as much as he does.
Yeah. And you're headed to Auburn. How excited are you to play for the Tigers in the SEC?
That's all you live for, to play in the competition of SEC Green, playing for Coach Pearl. It's a blessing, really.
Absolutely. Those fans are pretty wild down there. How big's that going to be?
That's what I'm looking forward to, just to put on for them, bring good vibes to the arena, and just put on a show for them.
You got good vibes out here tonight. We'd like to see it. Congrats.
Well, Brooke, meanwhile, Justin Edwards, the top-ranked player in the class, has put on a little show in the first minute of the quarter. Back-to-back buckets for the East. 4-point game. Berlou from long range. Book it.
And if Omaha can do that on a consistent basis, he will be a lottery pick next year. We talked about his motor, his positional size. We know he can defend, and if he can make shots, he becomes a terrific 3-and-D guy at the NBA level.
That's exactly what he is, Corey. A 3-and-D guy with high energy, committed to the defensive end. He's very fluid.
And you see
all three-point shot.
All the mechanics look great. Hold that follow-through up there, shooter. Omaha looking good here to start this game. And, of course, this East team looking much better to start the second quarter than they did in the first quarter. A lot of that having to do with Justin Edwards getting going.
DJ Wagner back on the floor, 21 for the East, to his future college teammate Edwards. Blocked, and the shot clock runs out.
I know we're not supposed to talk about defense at the McDonald's All-American game, but this is high-level individual defense, and there is some help side defense going on.
You know, and PB, I'll be honest with you, coming into this game, and this class has not been regarded as one of the better classes that we've seen in the past. And I think that they know that, and more importantly, they're playing as though they have something to prove.
Bronny James, splash! His third triple. And now foul at the other end on James.
And speaking of having something to prove, this young man is proving that he belongs amongst the McDonald's All-American 2023 class. Off to a great start. Bronny James knocking down his third three of the evening.
He's done nothing but improve over his last 4 years.
Oh, what a move by Elmarko Jackson, as explosive as anyone in the class. From New Jersey, headed to Kansas to play for Bill Self. Jeremy Fears Jr., 11 in the black on the floor at point guard, along with Bronny. Fears going to Michigan State. Bay Fall, future Arkansas Razorback, left it short. Wagner to Edwards, a Kentucky connection. It's a three.
And now you're starting to see why PB has Justin Edwards at the top of the list, showing it off here in this second quarter.
Oh, nice feed by Fears, and Cook goes reverse side. How surreal has this been this whole week for Mookie Cook? Tonight, LeBron is courtside. Cook played him in a movie that's coming out this year. Jackson from the outside.
We've got a real basketball game here, people. Anybody thought that this was going to be throwing it off the glass, going between the legs, etc. These guys are competing, and I love every minute of it.
Elmarko Jackson is going to be dynamic in Kansas. Can shoot it, drive it, and facilitate.
James defended by the bigger Sean Stewart. Off target this time. Wagner, the lead pass for Stewart, and out of bounds to the west.
That's where Wagner's made a big jump in his game, the head-to-head pass. Years past, he would dribble it up the court with speed, but not look. Now he's looking up the court, trying to make the simple play.
Fears slicing in. Fall the offensive board, and a foul.
Now Jeremy Fears is going to be the point guard at Michigan State for Tom Izzo, and he plays unafraid.
And I believe that he's probably the best true point guard in the class right now. When you think of Jeremy Fears, the guy that can get it done on both ends of the floor, can pressure you 94 feet, can get you into your offense, facilitate and score when necessary. That's exactly what he did, of course, for the U17 World Championship team a year ago. 2 gold medals for Jeremy Fears, and he, of course, was the guy who led those teams to victory, especially down the stretch.
When Jeremy Fears committed to Michigan State during his junior season last year, Tom Izzo told him, "You're my kind of player. I see Mateen Cleaves in you." Of course, the last point guard to lead Michigan State to a national title in 2000.
I coached against Mateen Cleaves when I was at Ohio State. The ultimate winner, competitor, that's Jeremy Fears.
Bayfall, one of the more unique prospects in this game, going to Arkansas, originally from Senegal. Played his high school ball in Denver. McCain back on the floor, off the mark. Oh, and Castle lost it off his foot. West ball.
Castle's had a little bit of a difficult time getting into a rhythm during this game, and it's often difficult for guys who, of course, have always started games and now getting involved, but he's been one of the more impressive players throughout this week. NBA scouts have been raving about his size and his ability.
McCain from the mid-range. Number 12 player in the class headed to Duke.
Yeah, Jared McCain's much more than a three-point shooter. He's a playmaker, and he understands how to get his own shot.
Here's Kwame Evans Jr. headed to Oregon along with his opponent tonight, Mookie Cook. Castle saves it. Holloway open look. And corralled by the West. Ron Holland racing ahead for the jam.
Our first dunk of the night.
And Castle's fouled at the other end. Ron Holland is inspired tonight. Plays college ball in Austin for Rodney Terry at Texas.
But you see how quickly he's able to advance, catching the basketball at half court, needing only one dribble to be able to get to the rim and finish, and showing off that elite size and athleticism.
The ability to convert from defense to offense. Ron Holland, second to no one in the class.
It's got to be a good day for Rodney Terry. Today you are introduced officially as the new head coach of the Texas Longhorns. And now you get to watch Ron Holland on the floor at the McDonald's game.
By the way, great move by Texas to hire Rodney Terry. It took him a little while, but he did a magnificent job in adverse situation.
He absolutely did. Great job there by Castle, rotating over once he was beat.
There's Holland tracking it down for the West. McCain, too strong.
Jared McCain was surprised himself that he missed that shot. He was already running back down the floor. He knew that one was good.
Remember, he didn't miss last night, basically, in the three-point contest.
And a McDonald's All-American himself in 1981 had the pleasure of taking the same court as Michael Jordan. What is it like sitting here watching your grandson do the very same thing you did in 81?
Oh, it's a blessing, man. Just to sit here and watch it, it brings back great memories. And also, his father played in this game also, man. It's just a great honor.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that you have a son and a grandson now who have all been McDonald's All-Americans. So this has been the legacy game. You're seeing Bronny James out here do things as well, Stojakovic. It's incredible to watch NBA players and their sons do big things. What does it mean to have a legend game like tonight?
Oh, it's a great feeling. You never know that these things are going to happen. All I look at is a blessing for our family, and my kids have put in the work to be in this game, so I'm very proud of them.
How important was it for you to kind of establish your game, and what can DJ do here? He's already going to Kentucky. I know you got to be really excited about that. What can he do tonight to really elevate himself amongst his peers?
Well, just go ahead and have fun. Do what he's been doing all his life. This is a game he loves, and he's understanding. He's been through a lot of things in his career, so he knows what to do. I'm sure he'll pick it up in a minute here.
Been some tough backyard brawls, I'd imagine, too, right?
Oh, yeah. We used to go at it, and we still do, so it's fun.
All right, Milt, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Brooke, how about 1981 in that game? Michael Jordan put up 30 points in that McDonald's All-American game. Milt Wagner on the floor. Who else was in that game? How about Patrick Ewing and Chris Mullin?
That is a lineup right there. And, of course, when you think about Michael Jordan's 30 points, that record stood for a very, very long time. And I believe it was broken, or is that still the record?
No, Jonathan Bender holds the record now,
right.
Remember?
Yes,
Yep.
Yes.
What a team that was, coached by Mike Jarvis.
Now, Bender had 31 points in the 99 McDonald's game.
You know, when you talk about, of course, DeJuan Wagner, DJ's father, who was a teammate of LeBron James in 2003, 2004, and the next season in Cleveland with the Cavaliers. There was also a third teammate on there, Paul Biancardi, who has a son playing in this game.
Putting you on the spot with this one.
Going to need a minute here.
No, you don't.
Think of another NBA player who has a son in this game, and it's not Peja Stojakovic.
Okay.
We saw him at the hotel. He wore a Duke shirt. Mackenzie Mbako going to Duke.
Just give it to him, Ted.
Michael Stewart.
Michael Yogi Stewart, whose son Sean is on the floor.
Because Yogi played out in Cal, so I wasn't thinking about that.
So here's the thing, PB. Yogi was undrafted.
Yes.
And the Sacramento Kings asked him to come back home, play on their summer league team, and work out in the summer. And let me tell you who that guy that he worked out with when he got back to Sacramento would happen to be one Peja Stojakovic. So, of course,
how about that?
Michael Yogi Stewart has a strong connection to a lot of guys here in this game.
Kwame Evans Jr. Train coming down the tracks. Count it, and the foul.
I love his versatility, Kwame Evans. He's 6'11", handles the ball in the open court. He can pass it from the high post. Pretty good open shooter. Needs to get a little more physical. Motor's got to rev up a little bit more.
But he's also a legacy. His father,
Yes.
Kwame Evans, played for Mike Jarvis at George Washington and was a standout.
Hall of Famer at GW, the 5th all-time leading scorer for George Washington.
And he plays on the #1 team right now, Montverde. Kwame Evans.
Ron Holland goes reverse side for 2. We'll see Evans later this week at Geico Nationals, in fact, the big national championship tournament to crown the very best in high school basketball. And he'll face off with his teammate tonight, Modest Buzelis, Thursday in the quarterfinals, 6 Eastern on ESPNU. A lot of these players are heading to Fort Myers after this game for that tournament. Ron Holland with another deuce.
And we got 6 McDonald's All-Americans playing in Geico Nationals. See who the top high school team is in the country.
Here's Castle matched up against McCain. UConn versus Duke. Entry pass and a foul on Ron Holland, defending Aaron Bradshaw, the 7-footer.
There's been more passing and more defense in this game, and that's what makes you appreciate this class. There may not be any studs for the NBA, no franchise players, maybe an all-star in time, but there are guys in this game who can start in the NBA, role players, rotation players, and a lot of guys that are going to impact college basketball.
And I believe that this class has heard that about themselves a lot, and one of the reasons why they have so many guys who are so competitive. If you think back, of course, 20, 30 years ago, no one mentioned the word motor. Motor did not exist. It was a prerequisite to play hard. That has kind of gone away over time, but you have a very hard-playing class. We've talked about so many different guys throughout this class and the way they compete. And that is one of the things I think that has tied this entire group together, because they've done that this entire week.
Not only do they compete, they're very coachable. You see them in the huddles, helping each other, speaking to the coaches. They've taken this very serious this week.
Well, speaking of the coaches, Grant Rice leading the West, the head coach at Bishop Gorman High School. 14 Nevada State championships in 22 years there in Las Vegas. Jacoby Walter. It rattles in. Nice move against Cody Williams.
Speaking of competitive, of course, Jacoby Walter has been one of the most competitive guys here throughout this week. Won the knockout contest yesterday and got off to a great start in the three-point contest. I think he wore himself down a little bit in knockout.
And he's going to Baylor.
Shepard ahead to Collier. Good with a foul.
Great look-ahead pass by Reed Shepard. He helps any team on the offensive end. But Jacoby Walter knows how to create and make his own shot.
He absolutely does. And going up against a very good defender, and Cody Williams is able to separate, get his space. And then speaking of separation, Isaiah Collier showing off his strength, separating himself from DJ Wagner to finish through the contact and opportunity for the and one.
Collier endured unspeakable tragedy in the summer. His cousin, Khalil Hardison, drowned in a kayaking accident. Collier was there. Hardison, 4 years older than him. Collier considered Khalil his brother. He's used the hashtag Live Like Khalil all year and continues to be inspired by him.
Yeah, he dedicated his senior season to his cousin. Tremendous tragedy. Head coach Larry Thompson. They have persevered.
Thompson is coach at Wheeler High School. Hardison's father, Collier's uncle, and Wheeler won a state championship this month.
Yeah, we put the tough question out to Isaiah Collier, who's the best player out of Wheeler High School, and you've got a lot to choose from. 1995 McDonald's All-American Sharif Abdur-Rahim in the mix, as well as NBA All-Star Jaylen Brown. And we've got some guys here showing off who could become All-Stars one day.
To be myself out there on the court, and I just have fun with what I do and how I play.
What I think is so cool is that you're great at your game and you have a huge social media following, but you never let the two kind of collide and take away from each other. What was it like getting that TikTok with Bronny yesterday?
It was cool. It was cool. You know, I showed him TikTok. He said he knew it, so he just had to lock in.
I'm sure there's millions of views already, and you're going to bring all those views, all those threes into Duke next year. What is the art for you behind the three-point shot?
Just reps with my father when I was super young, playing it with my brother. That's where it comes from.
Thank you so much, Jared.
Thank you.
About a combined 8 million followers on TikTok between McCain and Bronny James as Cody Williams attacks and draws the foul.
And you hear Jared McCain talk about his father, Lance, mom, Gina, who, of course, have been super supportive for him. Anywhere he's playing, you see them there in a support role. But his dad is not one of those helicopter dads who's always trying to coach his kid up from the sideline. He sits back oftentimes beside me and just watches and allows his kid to go out and play, make mistakes without being that guy that's trying to coach him from the stands.
Spoke to them yesterday, and all they're concerned about is the person, Jared McCain, not the basketball player, Jared McCain. And you can tell by the way he handles himself on and off the court.
I'm not going to speak that nice about Lance. He got all that from Gina.
Okay, yeah, she is. She's a sweet mom, that's for sure.
Minute and a half remaining until the break. The West up by 9. Omaha Blue on the drive, lost it on the way up. Mookie Cook with the hammer.
That's how Cook scores best. Around the rim in transition, and he is a heck of a defender.
Cody Williams wants the clear out against Andre Stojakovic. Couldn't get past him. Now DJ Wagner, the first third-generation McDonald's All-American, to Justin Edwards. Number 2 to number 1 in the ESPN 100. That's a long 2.
And that's where Wagner is exceptional. The ability to get into the paint and finish or find. Today's game all about paint touches, scoring at the rim, kicking it out for 3. That's DJ Wagner's game. Now he's become more of a playmaker as well. That's why he's the number 1 point guard in the country.
I agree with you, PB, on the fact that he's become a much better playmaker. That's a shot he would have forced earlier in his career, but does a great job finding Justin Edwards in the corner. These two guys, of course, tremendous competitors. We talk about number 1 and 2, but they were teammates at team final in the 8th grade, so they go way, way back, actually, but they were 5th graders playing together.
Teammates tonight, teammates starting next year at Kentucky. Edwards lost the handle, loose ball, and a tie-up. Heading the other way.
Don't forget that number 1 class for Kentucky. They also have Robert Dillingham.
Bucket.
He may be the best pure bucket in the class. 6'1", creates, exciting, can go by anyone off the bounce.
He played alongside Aiden Holloway, who team CP3 over the summer, and those two guys used to give opponents fits.
He is going to get the fans of Big Blue Nation off their feet.
Shot clock is dark here at the end of the half. The West with the ball up by 9. Fears headed to Michigan State. Defended by Wagner. Jeremy Fears Jr. Oh, Wagner got a piece of it. Edwards got to hurry. And time runs out. Sean Stewart could not put it up in time. And the West holds a 9-point lead at the break. The future stars of the college game on display here in Houston. From Jared McCain to Cody Williams. Of course, Bronny James. It's the West by 9 in H-Town. That we sat down with when you told them, do what you're good at, be who you are, and take it seriously.
And I have the opportunity, and one of the things I love about the McDonald's All-American game is that the NBA scouts are here. And, of course, kind of as a mediator between the scouts and these young players, you can communicate with them and let them know, hey, listen, guys, They don't want to see you work on your game. They want to see you do well, and they've done that exactly here tonight, Ted.
Matas Buzelis with the putback for the East. So back-to-back buckets for the East to start the second half.
And think about who that is. That's 6'9" Buzelis. That's 6'11" KJ Evans getting out defensively and doing the job to get the East back into it.
Here's Jared McCain from the corner. One of the best shooters in the class, off target. And Buzelis at 6'9" on the open floor. What a tantalizing prospect he is heading to G League Ignite. Williams blocked. And here comes the West. Bronny James out there to start the third quarter. Wearing his dad's number 6. Dad is courtside along with Mom Savannah and the rest of the family. James hit 3 threes in the first half. This one doesn't drop.
How about the passing in that possession by the West?
Great ball movement throughout this entire game, and guys being unselfish, which is not something you see in All-Star game often.
And Corey, to your point about what the NBA scouts are saying, you know, you expand your game in the offseason. You play to your strengths during the season and in game, and all these players have done that. They haven't got out of character here at McDonald's.
Yeah, don't show what you're working on with your trainer.
Yeah, don't show me what you can be. Show me what you do. And Brandon Garrison can do.
He's a very intriguing prospect. Some would still may consider him a little raw, but he's another one of those guys whose best basketball is ahead of him.
Here's your matchup, Paul. Buzelis against Holland.
Get up, Reed. Get up, Reed.
Get up, Reed. Shepard throws it down. The shooter can get up.
You knew it was coming, though. He just gave it a quick look back. You knew he was going to get bouncy on the break.
He's got great instincts for the game, Reed Shepard.
Another 3-on-1 for Shepard. McCain wide open, and he buries it.
So Jared McCain with the defense turning into offense, then the assist on the three-point play.
But just like that, a 12-point game, and the East had cut it to 5.
Evans, nice look inside, and Cody Williams is fouled by Bronny James.
And one of the impressive things about Reed Shepard all week is what he's been able to do defensively. Not only playing in the passing lanes, but also using his great hands to be able to come up with steals and then finding his guy, Jared McCain, for the 3.
I love the way he stopped at the top of the key, read the floor, made the play. A lot of guys would put their head down, just go to the basket. Reed Shepard is trying to make the right play.
He absolutely is, and of course he, made the right play on that one. 3s are better than 2, but I would kind of like them to give it over to Bronny on the other side and let's see Bronny get a little freaky with that one, because he showed off his bounce last night in the slam dunk contest.
Oh, yeah. Cody Williams at the line, younger brother of Jalen Williams in the Rookie of the Year conversation this year with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Far different path than his brother Jalen, who became a lottery pick out of Santa Clara. Williams, a top 10 prospect in this class out of high school. McCain. Sean Stewart signed with Duke with the pull-up jumper.
He's definitely got that in his game. One of the things I love about Sean Stewart is he knows who he is. He's a post player right now, but he has the touch and ability to be able to shoot it from distance, but continues to work on his game. But during game action, he shows you what he's great at.
He's got a 39-inch vertical. We saw it last night.
Shepard dealing with the length of the East right now, and he finds Garrison for 2. What a pass.
Well, Reed Shepard has impacted this game to start the second half of the West.
Foul called on the West on the drive by Elmarco Jackson.
Well, Sean Stewart just coming up like a point guard, like Corey Alexander, and pulling up.
I would have pulled up about 5 feet deeper than that, but I respect it.
The results are the same, though. And how about, Reed Shepard getting in tight spaces, making the right play. That's when you know a guy has instincts. When he gets caught and he gets in trouble and he can still find his way out.
Isaiah Collier the steal. Clear the runway.
You can see that the West is intent to be able to come out and get a win in this game. They lost the scrimmage by double figures, and they've held pretty much a double-figure lead throughout this entire game.
Kwame Evans Jr. He can hit from that range. Doesn't do it here. Oh, Evans the follow, and he's hacked by Collier.
The Morgan Wooten Player of the Year, Isaiah Collier, adding to his tab. led the first half in scoring with 13 points, adds 2 more to his tab, getting out on the fast break and the easy finish from the high flyer out of Wheeler High School.
We've seen a lot of steals in this game because guys are in the right position off the ball. They read the eyes of the passer, shoot the gap, take it coast to coast.
And give these coaches credit. They were doing the shell drills in practice.
Yes,
they were getting after it. And more importantly, on the Monday morning practice after the East won the scrimmage, the West practice was very competitive. They were getting after it, a lot of defensive drills, etc., and it's showing here tonight.
Yeah, they did the zigzag drill, if you remember that one-on-one up and down the court.
Jeremy Fears Jr. back on the floor at point guard for the West, future Michigan State Spartan. And here comes Cody Williams.
Nice.
Oh, to Sean Stewart! His head was above the rim.
He usually is on a dunk.
That's nothing for a slam dunk contest champion. Of course, Sean Stewart winning the trophy last night.
Oh, and Jacoby Walter with a triple at the other end. You think about Baylor, you think about guards, and they've got another one in Walter.
And when you talk about trophies, he won one last night, too, the knockout champion.
They also have Miro Little coming in from Sunrise Christian. Great backcourt for Scott Drew next season.
One of the highest risers in the class over the last few months. Williams is fouled.
Sharing the basketball has been the theme amongst both these teams here tonight. Sean Stewart getting out in transition. Paul talked about the 39-inch vertical. Shows it off on the break.
When you talk about guys finalizing a play, not many better than Sean Stewart. And he impacts the game with his athletic ability. It's very functional athletic ability.
It's been an interesting path for Stewart with his high school team, #1 team in the country, Montverde Academy in Central Florida. Stewart comes off the bench for Montverde.
Best 6-man in the nation.
DJ Wagner. Bradshaw with the follow. His teammate at Camden High School in New Jersey and future teammate at Kentucky. Got to get back, though. Walter with the slam.
And to your point, Ted, about Sean Stewart, it's going to Duke. When you get to that level, you may have to come off the bench. So Sean Stewart understands his role right now at Montverde. That will carry over to the next level.
Oh, Wagner eyes it up and connects over Mookie Cook. Wagner's first points tonight.
Yeah, quiet first half for DJ Wagner, who was the star of the scrimmage on Sunday. And I think he's going to be much more aggressive here in this second half, because we talked about his playmaking and his ability to do everything else on the floor, but he's a
player out here as well for a while. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually Ron Hollins, I've been mentoring him since 6th grade. Super proud of him. He's come a long way, and he's deserved everything he gets.
Where has he gotten better the most since you first met him?
You know, he's always had a motor, so that was kind of his #1 skill set. But defining his role and his position, to being able to handle the basketball, shoot the three, get to the basket, he's really developed in a major way.
Tonight, he came out and just started exploding out there. I mean, you could just really feel the intensity and how much he wants to leave no doubt out here on the floor. In a game like this, and can you think back and remember what was important to you?
Well, you know, showing well. You know, it's the best players in the country, really in the world when it comes to high school. And you hear so much about these different players, and you want to show well not only against them, but people that's watching the game. This is the best game in the world right now. So I think he's doing a great job at doing what he does. High motor, intensity, aggressive. He's going to have a bright future ahead of him.
I can see how proud you are right now.
I am. And shout out to Jacoby Walters as well. He was another young kid that I was able to see when he was growing up. Dallas kid. They're doing a great job.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you. As another Texan, the only one on this crew, appreciate that. Ron Holland, Jacoby Walter doing their thing tonight. In fact, guys, Holland is filling up the stat sheet for the West. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, and 1 steal.
And that's his calling card, the ability to impact it with versatility on each side of the court.
Well, speaking of Texas and the hotbed that is DFW basketball, Richard Bacon leading the East this week from DeSoto High School just south of Dallas. He has been a fixture in DFW hoops for decades.
And Dallas is, forgive me, Texas is trying to take on North Carolina right now as the hoop state. There's a battle because if you look back over the past few years and you've seen the prospects that have come out of the state of Texas, let's go back. Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey. It goes on and on and on. Texas has been very well represented recently in this McDonald's All-American game as well as moving forward in college and the NBA.
136 McDonald's All-Americans, in fact, from Texas since the game debuted in 1977. You saw Wagner with the three at one end. Walter, the Texan, off target here for the West.
Don't forget the big fella, Julius Randle.
Yeah, big fella Jules. I had the opportunity to coach Jules in the Hoop Summit, and he's had a great...
See, in the second half of games, that's when DJ Wagner, that alpha dog mentality, starts to take over games.
Yeah, we knew he was going to be more aggressive. This went scoreless in that first half. He was going to pick it up here when he got his opportunities in the second half of this game. Great rotation by Justin Edwards defensively. The Euro, the finish. And now you're seeing the #1 and #2 players in the country starting to impact this game.
Up and down we go. Omaha Ballou fouled at the rim. Ballou, the highest ranked recruit for Iowa State in the ESPN 100
But
area.
look where Justin Edwards comes from to steal this basketball. The anticipation and, of course, the great footwork, the finish. And as important as scoring the 2 points were, where he rotated from defensively, just reading the eyes of the passer to come up with that steal was even more impressive.
He's really a complete all-around player. That's why he moved to the #1 spot, because he's so productive. It's points, it's rebounds, it's steals, and it's defense.
And he's another one of those guys, PB, you don't have to run plays for Justin Edwards. He can go get it done. Offensive rebounding, of course, getting out in the passing lane, coming up with transition points, however you need it. He does whatever's necessary to win.
Wagner slipped, but still got it to Edwards. Edwards #1, Wagner #2 in the ESPN 100. Edwards from deep. Oh, Stewart flying high, and it's Bradshaw who caps it off.
The heartbeat of the East right now, picking up.
A 4-point game now. The starters have really come in off the bench in this third quarter and picked it up defensively.
And the jump shot for Justin Edwards looks nice. The mechanics are strong.
Fears rising up. The three future Wildcats on the floor together, along with Duke Blue Devil Sean Stewart. And Wagner is there for the putback. The East is within 2.
And all 5 guys on the East are either going to Duke or Kentucky next season.
And 3 of these guys were teammates with the New Jersey Scholars when you think about Mackenzie Mbako, DJ Wagner, and Aaron Bradshaw.
Stojakovic around, and Mbako. Oh, he's more than just a shooter. Peja's son.
He trained in Greece this summer with his dad.
Wagner has all 8 of his points in the quarter. Couldn't scoop it in. Walter leaves it for Ballou.
And give the West a lot of credit. Every time the East has cut that lead down, they've been able to respond and give themselves just a little bit of separation. A 6-point game now after the East cut it to 2.
Bradshaw fouled by Bay Fall. Back to Andre Stojakovic, headed to Stanford.
Well, he's so crafty and smart. He gets cut off, he spins back. He's got a nice high release on the layup.
Oh, and Peja in the house as well.
I played against that guy, let me tell you right now. You do not want to leave him open.
Did you defend him or score against him?
I was a point guard. Now, if they switched,
so that means you shot it.
If he switched off onto me, please believe he got scored on. However, if I had to guard him, most likely I got scored on. That's the way it works in the NBA, PB.
Peja, 3-time All-Star, is number 16, retired by the Kings. And an NBA champion with the Mavericks in 2011. So let's check out the top classes heading to college basketball in 2023. There's that Kentucky Duke flavor on the floor right now for the East.
Tremendous classes, different classes. Kentucky with toughness coming in. There's an edge to this class that I love. And Duke also very competitive, but they are a great shooting class. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, that best class he's had in the last 10 years. And Danny Hurley, UConn, Castle, and others. In fact, Stephon Castle was Danny Hurley's first recruit in the class of 2023. He got it started.
UConn on their way here for the Final Four this weekend. And Castle has been a standout this week, the future UConn Husky.
You think he'll stay and get some tickets?
One would hope. Bronny James the steal ahead to Collier. One more jam for the number 3 player in the nation.
As we talked about before, Isaiah Collier trying to recruit Bronny James to USC.
Stewart blocked by Collier from behind, but the whistle blows.
And that was a great find by Mackenzie Mbako. But give Isaiah Collier a lot of credit. And it's been the defense of the West. They've turned it into buckets. Collier with another dunk off of a steal.
Bronny is very good on the ball as a defender.
The West on the break. Oh, Ron Holland couldn't complete the dunk. We got it.
I tell
coming
you what,
right here.
You two, by the way, did not look like basketball players when the ball came over here.
Why do you say that?
Well, one, you're ducking, and then PB goes with the wrong hand on the wrong side to try to deflect it.
Hey.
I'm locked in. I'm ready to catch and shoot. Let me see. I'm on this side of half court. I would have to turn this direction. However, you two did not look like basketball players on that one.
Well, what a surprise, Corey. I'm not a basketball player.
But PB was.
I was a walk-on. What do you want me to do?
3 seconds to go in the quarter. Mackenzie Mbako, no, and the follow by Stewart won't count. So it's the West by 7, heading to the 4th.
Bronny James having himself an evening here defensively, coming over to join us. Look at Paul Biancardi. What is happening with you? Look at that. Bronny was so nice to fix your TV, Ted.
It was. Thank you, Bronny. Appreciate it. We got it. Bronny, you don't have to do this. We ain't putting you to work. You're busy on the court.
All right, I'm with Reed Shepherd. We've been talking about the legacy game all night. Both your mom and your dad are here. How much fun are you having playing in front of your parents?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, this is an unbelievable experience and a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And to be able to be here and play with all these great players, and like you said, with my parents and my family up in the stands behind me, it's awesome. And I couldn't be more happy to be here.
Now, we're excited to see how good you are and to honor how good your parents both were. Out of your mom and your dad, who would you say might be a better baller?
I'm going to go with mom. A lot of people like to talk about dad, but I've got to go with mom on this one. I think she was a tougher player, and I got to go with my mom on this one.
All right, good. Well, hopefully you inherit that same toughness and take it over to Kentucky with you. What do you want to bring most to the Wildcats next year?
Yeah, just a happy dude that's going to do anything that he can to win. You know, I'll do whatever it takes, whatever the coaches tell me, whatever I need to do for my teammates. So just going to go in and do whatever I can to win and hopefully get a national championship.
Well, one thing I definitely noticed about your game, you can jump just like your dad.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. You know, I guess I got to give credit to Dad. I guess that's his gene. So, yeah, no, I'm super blessed to be here. You know, this is an awesome game, and I'm super excited to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brooke, Reed Shepherd's dad, Jeff, 2-time national champion at Kentucky, Final Four most outstanding player, Ron Holland, here in his home state, future Longhorn for the bucket. The West up 87-78 here early in the 4th. Stephon Castle with the answer for the East.
Yeah, don't let Stephon Castle get into the paint. He can do damage. That's his game. Off the bounce at 6'6", one of the best in the class. Behind DJ Wagner, I have him as number 2, Corey, at getting into the paint.
I can respect that.
Who's number 1?
DJ Wagner.
Okay.
Is this what Ted does to you guys when you're doing games while he doesn't listen to you? Is that how that works?
He probably doesn't listen to me at breakfast.
Isaiah Collier with the bucket. Why do I have to listen to Paulie? Corey, come on.
We spent too much time together. Oh, nice hedge by Holland.
And Holland comes up with the steal. Collier leaves it for Holland, who puts it in. Holland in double figures with 10.
I'm sorry, that was Brandon Garrison with the hedge. Holland with the steal.
Regardless, it was great defense, team defense by the West, in which they've been locked in the entire game, but no defense for that as Stephon Castle steps out, shoots from about 25, and is able to knock it down.
He plays with a quiet edge, Stephon Castle. He's a capable three-point shooter, but he is tremendous off the dribble.
Collier trying to get downhill, lost the handle. 4-on-2 for the East, and Cody Williams rises up for the slam.
And the East giving the West a taste of their own medicine, turning defense into offense. The nice find from Aiden Holloway to give Williams the dunk.
Fears feeds Brandon Garrison for the stop. Oh, we had the highest scoring McDonald's All-American girls game earlier tonight. Both these teams on their way to 100+. Fears ahead to Bronny. Holloway stepped in front. Cody Williams. Somebody lost their shoe. Holloway did. Oh, and Holland lost it out of bounds. Gets the hug from Bronny.
Ted, believe it or not, the exact same thing happened to me 32 years ago in the McDonald's All-American game. Lost a shoe during the game. Aiden Holloway trying to change direction.
And the hug. These guys have gotten along so well together off the court, and I look at that all week long. The chemistry, the friendliness, the respect, it's all there.
And especially the guys, PB, at the top of the class. You talk about those guys, about 5 different guys in the mix to be the #1 player, but they've all spent a lot of time together in a very cohesive group. Nice play defensively by Holloway.
Another steal for the future Auburn Tiger.
Got to shoot it, Aiden. You did the work.
Instead, it is Castle with the finger roll.
See, though, Corey, he made the right play.
Nah, I think the right play would have been making a 3.
No, he gave that ball to Castle right down the middle of the lane for a layup. That's why you're a player and you're a workout coach.
Oh, I'm both. True that. However, I'm also a shooting coach. And if he could have made that 3, 3s count more than 2.
Bronny James wants another 3.
See?
Give it to him.
Come on, Bronny.
Take the 3, Bronny. Take the 3, Bronny.
I'll tell you what, off the catch, he is smoking Bronny James.
And Holloway's fouled by Jared McCain. Bronny James has really taken a step forward as a shooter over his 4 years in high school.
Well, that's what he does best. He shoots the 3-point shot. He's ready, he's pure, and he's not afraid.
And a great find from Jared McCain, of course, much to the delight of LeBron James, who has had to use that same celebration a number of times today. What's that, the 5th 3 of the game for
Number
Bronny?
4.
Number 4? Okay. He's shooting it extremely well. And again, he's done it all week long.
I watched LeBron play in high school. He could not shoot like Bronny does. Same stage. No way.
Holloway from deep. Now he pulls the trigger.
Now you see why I was saying that Aiden Holloway should have shot the 3 on the first possession. He's been on fire the entire game. And again, he had offensive rebounders there. If he missed, that 1 point could be a difference at the end of this game, Ted.
Hey, Bruce Pearl just sent me a text. He said he made the right play.
Okay.
He Cook left alone. Bruce Pearl really did text you?
Come on, Ted. Don't ask those type of questions on national TV.
Oh, 3 ball for DJ Wagner. He's got 11.
That was a big question.
3.
That was a big question, and rightfully so, about his game. He's taking it to the next level, DJ Wagner.
And he's put in the work, too, and now puts in the work defensively. Get up, DJ! Just like that, a 1-point game. And just excited about the way these young men have competed throughout this game. Look at Elmarco Jackson getting after Jared McCain at half court.
This has felt like a game throughout. It has not turned into the dunk contest like we see every year in the second half. Timeout in Houston. 1-point game. It was Don Tolliver at halftime. The best in high school basketball. Up, up, and away here in Space City. What a night it has been. Best girls game in the 20-plus year history of this event, and we're set up for an all-timer here as well.
Going down to the wire, extremely competitive game, and you can see the defenses continue to pick up here in this 4th quarter.
1-point game, 5 minutes to go. It's crunch time right now.
Collier always in attack mode.
And taking advantage of the switch. Aaron Bradshaw switching on to Collier, guarding him 30 feet away from the basket. Smart play by Collier, getting to the rim. And, of course, the way the 3-point shots have been falling here in the second half, no one wanting to help.
Aaron Bradshaw, 7-footer, fouled on a 3-point attempt. That's a huge part of his game that he's taking to Kentucky.
Love his mentality. Love his personality. This young man just lights up a room. When he steps in, you get a chance to talk to him. Great personality, and I'm sure they're going to love him in Big Blue Nation next year.
Well, they got 4 of them coming in next year. 5 total class, but 4 from the McDonald's All-American game.
More than any other school.
Now, let me ask you this, Corey, because you stumped me in the first half.
Uh-oh.
Which program has the most McDonald's All-Americans in one game?
Most
ever.
McDonald's All-Americans in one game ever.
Ooh. Man,
I was helping you guys. I just talked about the school.
So this isn't it. Well, I mean, it's got to be Kentucky then if you just talked about it.
There you go. There's that UVA education.
What year was that?
2013. They had 6 of them.
6 in 2013. Wow. Okay, in 2013, that would have been Carl Anthony Towns. That would have been Devin Booker. Let's see, who else was in that mix? What's my point guard's name? I got to think about that list, but I can remember that class.
Yeah, we'll get the research staff on that. Walter in the paint against Edwards.
Great defense by Justin Edwards.
3-second call, turnover.
When have we seen one of those in the McDonald's All-American game?
And it all started with DJ Wagner at the point of attack. He was on the basketball, and then Edwards, how about the sit down, the slide? Didn't give any space.
And you speak about Kentucky, John Calipari is up clapping right now. The defensive effort from his 2 stars coming in next season.
I'm telling you what, he's going to get a competitive group. I don't know if they're going to win a lot, but they're going to be competitive.
Oh, the East had a chance to take the lead. Instead, it's Collier the other way for the West. Loose ball picked away by Edwards. And the snowbird is Elmarco Jackson. An explosion at the rim. The East in front.
And it's funny to say this, but it's been by their defense.
It has absolutely been about the defense. And it's been led by, as you mentioned, DJ Wagner picking up at half court. Justin Edwards continues to play in the passing lane and has been in the right spot at all times, kicking ahead to Elmarco Jackson, who finishes off emphatically, just as he was doing in the dunk contest last night,
when he cleared Ronald McDonald on his way to the rim. Collier's at the line, missed the first. One more for the future USC Trojan. Jacoby Walter heads out for the West. And James is back on the floor. You see him wearing number 6. And Collier ties it up at 99. Collier has 22 tonight to lead all scorers.
You know, and what you love about this is you get an opportunity to see who the coaches have really trusted throughout the week to come out and give their best performance at the end.
A step back for Wagner. Bradshaw, offensive rebound, and he's fouled.
Great job by Aaron Bradshaw. He set the screen at the top of the key. Wagner comes off, steps back, Bradshaw right to the rim.
And PB, we've talked about what we've seen from these guys for the last 4 or 5 years. I've never seen Aaron Bradshaw attack the offensive glass the way he has throughout this week.
This week has been the best in that category, no doubt about it. We all know that most of rebounding is going after the basketball. Aaron Bradshaw went after that when DJ Wagner shot.
Corey, you asked him when we sat down with him Saturday night, all right, you played 15 years in the league, you've made all your money, what do you want to do then? Aaron Bradshaw had the answer ready. I want to own a trucking company.
But again, when you talk about his personality and really the way he conducts himself, you can see that he put thought into that answer. It's something he didn't just come up with when we were in that room Saturday. He's thought about it long before, just like Isaiah Collier had a long time to think about that 3 he knocked down in the corner.
And he wants to get into acting, he said.
Yeah, Collier's headed to Hollywood. West back on top. Jackson for 3. Bradshaw, another offensive rebound. Got to pick it up off the deck. And Bradshaw guides it in. How about the emotion from the 7-footer?
Hey, PB, is he one of those 5 guys that could get in the mix with number? Because if he plays like this,
well, if is the big word, right?
If is a huge word. But if we see this Aaron Bradshaw on a consistent basis,
2 letters never meant so much.
Look at that, coming up with the steal.
Give it back to him.
And the lob, Wagner trying to find Jackson. It's through his hands, out of bounds.
2 letters never meant so much, right? IF. But you know who did a lot of work with Aaron Bradshaw coming up through the ranks?
Oh, yeah.
Who was it?
Never nervous, baby.
Never nervous, purpose.
Come on,
that's right.
Milt Wagner's teammate, and you see Bradshaw battling on the glass, able to come away with the finish. Oh, yeah, no. Purvis Ellison, of course, is a staple.
Oh, Holland missing a dunk for the second time in the half. The Longhorn signee was fouled, however, so free throws with under 2 minutes to play. And a timeout in Houston. Is this fun or what? The grandest stage in high school basketball.
Isaiah Collier from Bronny James. Dial up the triple. The West.
And Bronny on the floor here now, the last minute, 56 remaining. This is the time where the coaches show who they've trusted most throughout this entire week. Bronny James has earned the right to finish this game alongside Isaiah Collier and Jared McCain in the backcourt. Ron Holland and Brandon Garrison in the front court for the West.
And that's a great word you use, trust. Because I trust a lot of these guys that are McDonald's All-Americans when it comes to the next level. They respect the game. They're serious about their game, and so you trust them in big moments.
Holland ties the score at 103. No McDonald's All-American boys game has ever gone to overtime in the 46-year history of the event, and only one girls game has. DJ Wagner breaks the tie, the bucket for the East.
And that's what he does best. Gets downhill, attacks the paint, and finish at the rim.
And Corey, that was with his left hand. He can go right or left.
By the way, if you're tuning in for SportsCenter, it follows us here in Houston. Future stars of the college game and beyond on display here at Toyota Center, including Bronny James. Bullseye for Bronny, number 5.
And once again, the beautiful find from Jared McCain. This is real basketball, people. Even though it's the McDonald's All-American game, they're playing the right way. And Bronny James has been a benefactor of a number of great finds from his teammates.
The East pushed that ball to the baseline. McCain took it baseline. Bronny spotted up and knocked it down.
But that's real basketball. Baseline drive, baseline drift, and you see Bronny James showing off his basketball intelligence, getting to that corner, recognizing that Jared McCain would find him in the right spot. Knocks down a huge three.
Number 5 on the night for James, who has grown up with camera eyes trained on him since he was in grade school. He has been raised in the boiling cauldron of social media, the only uncommitted player in the game tonight, and a top 30 prospect in the class, Paul.
And Ted, I've watched him as a rising freshman, and every game he's ever played in, he is so dialed into the game, his teammates, his coaches. He never looks in the stands. He never looks at the camera. And that's one of the things that I think that make him really special. He's focused.
Wagner against Collier, the top 2 point guards in the class. Under a minute to play in regulation, and a foul called against Collier.
But no one likes that call, but it's the right call. In today's game, there's no time you can put 2 hands. Show the replay. Show the replay.
Wait a minute.
There's 0 time.
We're at the McDonald's All-American game.
Watch this. Watch this.
Oh, come on, baby.
2
I caught
hands.
you in the Big East.
2 hands to push. 2 hands to push.
That
in
was
the back.
That was a love tap in the Big East.
Wagner rising up. It's an air ball. The West takes over with a 1-point lead.
We got real basketball game, real calls here. Isaiah Collier now with the opportunity to get back. These 2 guys, you talked about it, PB, the competition between the 2 of them at the top of the charts. And we see it coming down in the final seconds of this game.
Collier got past Wagner. Going reverse side. Stewart is there to effect it. The East on the run. DJ Wagner hammers it for the lead. 30 seconds to play and a timeout for the East.
What an incredible sequence. Isaiah Collier rejected the ball screen. He was getting 2 points. Sean Stewart said, not on my watch. And the transition from defense to offense, they moved the ball with the pass, and they finished with the flush.
But the West wants a goaltending on this, and it should have been. The ball hits the glass first before Sean Stewart gets a hand on it. But Justin Edwards with the nice find ahead to DJ Wagner, who's able to finish it off and give the East the lead right back. The basketball hits the glass. Once it hits the glass, Sean Stewart touches it afterwards. That is goaltending. A missed call on that end of the floor for the West turns into a bucket on the other end for the East.
Paul, all 17 of DJ Wagner's points have come after halftime.
And that's who he is. I mean, he's a gamer who's competitive. You never know how he's going to play, but you never question his heart in the game. And he's looking to make the right play and the winning play, because that's all that matters to DJ Wagner. He handled the #1 spot since he was a sophomore in high school. Right now, Justin Edwards has it. He's looking to take it back.
Be interesting to see your last rankings when they come out April 19th, correct?
Ooh, you on it. April 19th, senior class will be finalized in the rankings.
Slight difference between the clocks. Under 20 to play in regulation. Sean Stewart taking Collier on the switch. Collier headed to USC, draws the foul.
Just a smart play by Isaiah Collier, getting to his spot with the pump fake. Sean Stewart blocked his last shot. He knew he was going to get Stewart in the air, and does a great job of drawing the contact, getting to the free throw line, an opportunity to give his team a lead at the end of this McDonald's All-American game.
You talk about basketball intelligence. Collier knows he can't get by Sean Stewart, so what does he do? The pump fake, gets a defender off his feet. High basketball IQ by Isaiah Collier.
And Collier now 5 of 11 from the free throw line. He struggled from the line, and now, of course, what they make, all he can do is tie this game, giving the East the opportunity to take the last shot here if he makes this free throw.
Collier does have a game-high 25. And a timeout by the East. So trying to ice Collier here, 12.8 to go.
I like the call by Coach Bacon.
Yeah, you ice him.
Not only do you ice the shooter, but you can tell your squad what they're going to run with 12 seconds to go, what type of screen and where you're going to set the screen.
Yeah, you get to draw up what's going to be your last play, who you want to get the basketball, and more importantly, you don't give the West an opportunity with the timeout to set up their defense. Now, they can do it at this point. Of course, Mookie Cook coming into the game right now, who they trust on the defensive end of the floor. But you don't want to give them an opportunity to switch anything defensively or whatever they were going to plan to do. So after the free throw, you want to race it up the floor, get across half court, and then make sure you get this last shot.
Plenty of time with 12.8. Who do you draw it up for if you're the East?
Well, I mean, again, I'm going with DJ Wagner. Paul talked about the fact that this young man has played under the spotlight his entire basketball career because of his grandfather and his father, and I'm going to trust him to be the guy. But he's improved so much as a playmaker, he doesn't have to take the shot. He can find the right guy.
Well, there's no question about it. The ball is going to go in the hands of DJ Wagner. If you're Elmarco Jackson, who's on the floor, you got to be ready.
First Collier for the tie. He missed it. Stewart the rebound. Got a foul if you're the West, and here it is with 8.7, and DJ Wagner, the first third-generation McDonald's All-American, is on his way to the line. Collier comes up empty.
Yeah, Collier misses two. DJ Wagner is excited about his opportunity to get to the free throw line and make it a three-point game, but with 8.7 seconds remaining, this game is far from over. More than enough time to get a quality look on the other end.
Well, you saw the West running a little scheme if there was a missed free throw. One went inside, one went outside. Sean Stewart with the block out got possession. If he makes both, West can still tie it up.
First trip to the line tonight for Wagner. It's a two-point game. One more look at Collier.
Well, again, you're talking about a great player. He cannot believe that he shot free throws so poorly throughout this game. Now 5 for 12, especially at a time where he could have tied this game.
Well, the West now has McCain in the game. Reed Shepard. Collier got to think about next play right now. He's got to forget the last one.
Well, so you got to make sure Bronny's on the floor.
James is on the floor. All shooters for the West. Down by 3. Here we go. McCain way off. Rebound by Stewart. And the East is victorious in the McDonald's All-American Boys game. Led by the first third-generation McDonald's All-American, DJ Wagner.
And DJ Wagner scored all of his points in the second half of this game. PB and I talked about it. We knew he went scoreless in the first half. He was going to come out and be aggressive in this second half. He's done everything. He's improved as a playmaker, every area of his game, but he is a natural-born scorer, and he showed it off in the second half.
He's also a natural-born leader and competitor. DJ Wagner does not go down without a fight. This has to be the most exciting finish that we've seen in the McDonald's All-American game in a long time. Certainly one of the most competitive games.
Of course, LeBron was here to see his son, Bronny. One more look at McCain's final shot.
And I like the pass by Bronny because it was a dribble over, kick it back. Bronny did not have a good look, so he gave McCain the final shot.
I would love for them to get that closer to the three-point line, though. Let Bronny attack it off the dribble. Then McCain come behind, so he's shooting that three from maybe 23, 24 feet instead of 30.
Over to Brooke with DJ Wagner.
All right, DJ, that had to be one of the most intense McDonald's All-American games to date. Tell me what that was like for you to play out there.
It was a great experience, you know. I'm just honored just to be able to come out here and step on the court with these guys in this stage. You know, it's a great feeling. You know, we all talked about it. We said we was going to come out here and compete because that's what we do. We all competitors, and that's what we did.
You're the first player, we talk about a legacy game, to have both your dad and your grandfather play in these games. How did you want to serve them, make them feel proud today?
Just by stepping on the court. You know, it's an honor for me every day just to wear this last name. Stepping behind two greats, two legends. So it's just an honor.
As the game got tight, what were you and your teammates talking about how to win?
The whole game, we were saying we good. You know, we knew we was going to face some adversity. So just to keep fighting, just to keep working, and that was going to come to us.
And what finally does it mean for you to leave this place as a McDonald's All-American?
It feels great. You know, it's an honor.
Awesome. Congratulations, DJ.
Thank you.
Now, DJ Wagner continuing the lineage started by Milt Wagner and DeJuan Wagner, now joining the likes of Shaq, KG, LeBron, and KD as MVPs of the McDonald's All-American game. This was the legacy game. Bronny James knocked down 5 threes with his family here courtside in Houston. That'll do it from Toyota Center. For Corey, Paul, Brooke, and our entire crew, this is Ted saying so long. Time for SportsCenter. Nicole Briscoe and Zubin Mehenti, it's all yours.
Guys, thanks.